Since the late 1990s, dozens of young men across the United States have mysteriously disappeared after nights out with friends. Days later, their bodies are found in rivers or lakes, miles from where they vanished. Though police rule them as drownings, others believe something far more sinister is at work. It's always the same pattern: a group of friends, a night out, laughter echoing down dark streets. But then, something shifts. A moment of silence. A brief separation. The last trace of the young man is captured, his image fading into the shadows. Hours later, his body will be found, but the path to his death remains a mystery. With no clear evidence, many refuse to believe it's just an accident. Instead, some claim that a killer, or even a group of killers, may be operating in plain sight, lurking in the shadows, leaving behind chilling symbols, a smiley face, marking their dark presence. As the bodies were discovered, a disturbing detail began to emerge: smiley faces. Graffiti. Painted on walls, bridges, and near the locations where the bodies were found. What started as an odd coincidence grew into a chilling pattern. Some investigators, like former NYPD detective Kevin Gannon, began to see a connection between these symbols and the growing number of deaths. Was it the signature of a killer, or killers, hiding in plain sight? A taunting mark, left behind to mock both the victims and the authorities alike. As more bodies were recovered, the theory of a coordinated network of killers began to take shape. Detectives uncovered evidence that linked some of these deaths to similar locations, remote areas, near bodies of water. The victims' paths seemed to intersect, but with no clear connection. With each discovery, it became clear, this wasn't a random series of events. Some believed there was a hidden network operating across the country, its members moving in silence, striking when the time was right, and always leaving behind their signature. Despite years of investigation, the question remains: who, or what, is behind these deaths? Authorities insist these drownings are nothing more than unfortunate accidents. But as the evidence stacks up, more bodies, more graffiti, more unexplained disappearances, skeptics grow louder. Some believe there's a cover-up. Others insist the truth is more horrifying than anyone dares to admit. As time passes, the trail grows colder, and the answers remain just out of reach, leaving behind only questions, and a haunting symbol. Some believe the smiley face is more than a signature. It's a warning, a taunt left by the killers, daring anyone to stop them. In the quiet of the night, these chilling marks show up in the most unlikely places, just out of reach, like an omen, as if someone is watching, waiting. With each new appearance, the question lingers in the air: is this the work of one person, or a network of killers operating in plain sight? The answer may lie in the shadows, just beyond the reach of the law. As the cases mounted, the investigation grew more desperate. Former NYPD detectives, along with criminologists and forensic experts, pored over each new discovery. The same symbols, the same patterns, and yet, no answers. Some believed the killer or killers were growing bolder, leaving behind their marks to remind investigators they were always watching. The question now was whether the authorities could connect the dots before another victim was claimed, or if this killer would remain hidden in plain sight. As more bodies were discovered, the public began to ask the question everyone feared: could these deaths be connected? News outlets picked up the story, but authorities continued to downplay the theory of a serial killer. Yet, in the hearts of the public, fear began to grow. Was there a killer stalking the streets, leaving behind cryptic signs, or was this just an isolated tragedy after tragedy? The theories spread like wildfire, and with each passing day, the mystery deepened. It was then that a breakthrough came, one that sent chills down the spines of those investigating. A pattern was beginning to emerge, not just in the locations of the bodies, but in the smiley face graffiti itself. Investigators began to connect the dots between various cities, all across the country, where the symbol had appeared. It seemed that no matter where the victims were, the same chilling mark followed, hinting at a coordinated effort, one that spanned far beyond any individual killer. Was this part of a larger, hidden agenda? The mystery only deepened as they realized they were hunting not just one killer, but potentially a network. The smiley face, the mark of the killer, wasn't just a symbol, it was a taunt. A challenge left for anyone brave enough to investigate. In every city, in every case, it appeared, daring those searching for answers to come closer, to find what was hiding in the shadows. But as investigators grew closer to the truth, they faced the question that haunted them: was this just the work of one man? Or was there something darker at play, a group of killers, working together, leaving behind their signature in plain sight? They were sons, brothers, students, young men with dreams and bright futures ahead of them. Their lives ended too soon, in ways too similar to be ignored. Each family holds on to the same haunting question: why? How could their loved one simply vanish in the night, only to be found lifeless days later? These aren't just case numbers. These are people, real lives forever altered, all marked by the same eerie calling card. And for many families, the worst part isn't the loss, it's the silence. Despite the growing evidence, law enforcement continues to push a different story. Each case is labeled accidental, alcohol, poor judgment, wrong place at the wrong time. The idea of a coordinated group of killers is dismissed as internet conspiracy. But those who've seen the patterns, those who've lost someone, they aren't convinced. To them, the denials feel like silence, the kind that lets something monstrous hide in plain sight. Some witnesses claim to have seen figures, men in hoods, lurking near riverbanks, disappearing into the night. But no footage is ever clear, no testimony ever conclusive. Like ghosts, the killers vanish before they can be caught. Those who follow the theory speak of coded messages on forums, of strange emails and anonymous tips that vanish as quickly as they appear. Whether truth or paranoia, one thing is certain: someone, somewhere, doesn't want this case solved. Over time, the story took on a life of its own. Online forums, podcasts, and documentaries amplified the theory, turning the Smiley Face Killers into modern urban legend. But legends grow from something real. As the internet connects the dots authorities won't, a darker question begins to emerge: what if this legend isn't fiction? What if, behind every rumor and symbol, there's truth? And what if it's still out there, just waiting for another name to add to the list? It's been years since the first body was found, and still, the smiley faces keep appearing. Are they warnings? Reminders? Or promises yet to be fulfilled? The killer, or killers, have never been caught. Maybe they were never meant to be. And as cities sleep and rivers flow, somewhere out there, someone is still watching. Still waiting. Some say it's all coincidence. A tale twisted by grief, fueled by fear. But the marks remain. The patterns persist. And as the rivers keep their secrets, the smiley face watches, waiting, unseen. If this story unsettled you, you're not alone. Subscribe for more true horror stories, because the scariest tales are the ones that actually happened. The source for this story is in the description below. Read it, if you dare.